Yo, 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 what's going on YouTube? It is Kamikaze or Yaze. Um, Making another YouTube video here today, and I'm going to talk about just, I guess, hitting 25 and what I'm going to be doing in my next 5-year goal, I guess, and my plans, and maybe talk about some other stuff. Um, One thing I wanted to lead off with right away was I just watched a YouTube video from another individual. Um, Talking about how we were kind of lied to about weed, and I just posted a video about kind of my experience of smoking weed for I don't know, past 12 years or so. And watching his video, he has some points. We kind of were lied to. There was definitely a heavy push of this is safer than it actually is. It's still way safer than alcohol, but there's definitely some cons to it. It doesn't it's not 100% foolproof or innocent, right? Um, I always have taken the stance of whatever substance you want to do, you should understand it at every level that you can possible of it, and understand why you're doing this, right? In his video, he talked about how he only wanted to do it kind of like in a peer pressure situation, or how he was insecure um, in freshman year and stuff like that, which I totally get. Um, and everyone I feel like that I've known usually has a kind of a story like that. In my case, I was not. I guess I was the kid maybe peer pressuring people, but I always held the stance if you didn't want to do it, don't do it, right? You do you. Never stopped hanging out with someone or whatnot because they didn't want to do something, right? Um, if you were hanging out with me, you're a homie, and I want you to hang out with us regardless if you're gonna do a substance with us or not. But he has some fair points. It definitely has some good cases, but some some bad cases as well. And the quote that I always love is from South Park, where weed's not gonna kill you. It's not evil. It's not gonna necessarily ruin your life, but it's gonna make you okay with being mid, right? Like you can be geeked and you can think you're cool and oh, everyone at school knows I smoke weed and shit. I'm a fucking geeker. I'm sick. Well, do you want to be like that your whole life? Because if that's your mentality, you're going to be a burnout and a stoner forever. And being a stoner forever is not a bad thing, but being a stoner who does nothing with their life is a bad thing. And weed will make you okay with being okay. You know, One thing that I like to use it for is to kind of calm my brain down and de-stress. But sometimes, and this is just a part of growing up and me turning 25, I've definitely started to understand this better, more than I did when I was 16, 15, 14. So I'm gonna kind of cut in this clip, but what I was going with is, it'll make you okay. And I use it to de-stress a little bit and kind of calm my brain down. But one thing that you got to realize, and you start realizing this when you're older, is what's the difference between actual stress and anxiety that your brain is giving you because you need to do something, right? Growing up, I thought I had anxiety and I had no idea what's going on. And sometimes I'm still met with that, but a lot of the times you have anxiety because you know you're supposed to be doing something or living up to a potential and you're not. And sometimes you need to go to therapy and talk to someone about it to figure that out. But weed, if you smoke it all the time, that's gone. And if you don't learn the difference between those feelings, then you'll get stuck that every bit of anxiety and every bit of stress you experience in life you need weed for and to calm it down, but that's just not the case. There is good stress. You know, there's a reason why our bodies produce it, and it's not just completely random. And sometimes there is a chemical problem with the brain, right? At the end of the day, these are all chemical compounds in the brain. You can have a deficiency and you can have a problem, but from my experience, at least in my case, and it's not for everyone, right? Everyone's different. We're all equal when it comes to our rights, but we're all different when it comes to actual composition and the way that we carry ourselves and the way we think and operate. And you just don't want to get in a spot where you turn that off, especially early in life, because if you do it too early in life, you'll miss so much because you're just stoned all the time and turning your brain off and not letting it grow up. You know, it is a crucial period of time when you're that young, from like 14 to shit, you 21, that you don't ruin your brain doing these things because your brain is still developing. Um, and we still don't fully know what happens, right? But it's probably not good. You know, there is light at the end of the tunnel. You know, it's not gonna fuck you up completely, especially if you do something about it, but you should definitely not rely on it as much. I'm happy to see the alcohol industry, you know, collapsing sort of because of weed, but don't think that it's completely without its harm. So enough with that. What I want to get into next is talking kind of about hitting 25. It's kind of a major milestone, right? Frontal lobes developed. You're halfway to 50. You're a quarter of the way to 100 if you think you're going to live that long. Um, and it's kind of big. You know, let me tell you, anyone that's younger listening, it sneaks up on you. Um, you know, I still feel like I'm like 19 years old, but that was 6 years ago. And I still can remember that time very vividly and very well, like it happened yesterday, but it was 6 years ago. And it doesn't slow down. Um, so you need to have a plan. I used to have a plan, and I've been sticking to it and following it, and I had goals, but lately in the past year it's kind of fallen apart, mostly because of my own doing, but also my own thought process, my own feelings, and my own perspective of life's kind of shifted. Um, Different priorities now and all kinds of stuff. And for me, my goal is one, to do YouTube videos. You know, these, if you're watching these now, I really appreciate it because I'm definitely shit. I'm not doing a good job right now. It's definitely not professional grade level YouTube commentary. But I need to do something, and I'd rather try and get 0 views for this entire year, but know that I tried and trying to improve and get better with each video than not try at all. Um, because I've been wanting to do this since I've been watching YouTube videos since I was 10 years old, 15 years, and it's taken me 15 years just to finally start doing something about it. And my advice is, if you have anything, whether it be YouTube, going to school, learning a trade, seeing this person, right, reaching out to a family member, whatever, and it's been this long, and you have that in your mind, do it. Who cares about the result? Don't. Who cares if they don't respond? Who cares if you don't fail or if you fail? Who cares? Do it, because you will learn to live with regret if you don't do it. And although I don't have many regrets in my life, and I try to always live it without regrets, you know, part of my anxiety and the issues that I've been experiencing lately has been from my own inaction and laziness and my own fear of failing, that, oh, no one's going to watch these YouTube videos, or no one's going to be interested in what I have to say, or what if they're watching my gameplay and it's shit? Who cares? Who cares? If you care, if they care enough and they leave a comment, then take it with as much information as possible, with your feelings aside, and learn to improve off of it. That would be my advice. So my resolution this year is to make as many YouTube videos, at least one a day, for this entire year. So hopefully at the end of this, it'll be about 365 videos. I guess 366, kind of, with because it's a leap year. But it's to do that, It's to continue getting better in my actual career as a network engineer and to get a house. Although, I, with the current market here in America and I live in Las Vegas, it's a little iffy. I want a house, but at the same time, it's kind of just a bad deal. I mean, assuming that yes, they'll continue going up forever, then it's not a bad deal. However, 2008 showed they don't go up forever, and other various crashes, right? There will be a correction, and we just haven't had that yet. My advice and the way that I'm going about it is if it's still a bad deal, you don't make the deal, even if it means they're going to be assetless. Why would you want a bad deal? If you make a bad deal, you now have to account for way more variables and unknowns than you did before. Oh, this house was too much. Yeah, I could have made it work now, but what happens when you lose your job, right? What happens if you get a pay cut, demoted? What happens if the economy completely goes to shit? What if you over leverage yourself on the house and now you're in debt? What if you have negative equity in the house, right? There's so many more things to think through and consider rather than just I want this house. Especially now, it's way different compared even 25 years ago. The American dream was anyone can buy a house. That was the goal, but at the same time, you have to take into account that times are different. Things are way more expensive. They operate and work way different. It's just not as feasible as it is now. Not saying it's impossible, but you have to put a lot more thought process into it than just I'm getting a house, right? Not saying it's a bad idea. Go for it. You should own land. You should own property. In my case, I'm more thinking about if I'm not gonna get a good deal on a house, then I'm gonna fucking buy some land and do something with it. I'd rather have the land and build my own shit, even if it's a shack, than have a bad deal and get a big house and be fucked. So, but those are my two main goals as of right now and what I'm planning to do. If you're also 25 or, getting close and you're also going through kind of like a, I like to say midlife crisis, which if you only live to 50, I guess it is, but the average age is a little bit higher. You know, if you're having kind of this midlife crisis moment at this age, you're not alone. Feel free to reach out if you need someone to talk to. I'll do my best. Just leave a comment. I'll try and DM you and talk through it, but just know you're not alone. And don't give up. Never give up. Always get up. No matter how hard it hurts, no matter how shitty it is, just no matter what, always get up. Who cares if you're stumbling while you're getting up? All that matters is that you got up and you continue going. So, have a great rest of your day. Continue grinding. Stay safe. And yeah, have a good one. Thank you. Bye.